How has the system been broken?
Too many children in the school. Teachers that don't have enough experience, not enough extracurricular activities, not enough school supplies.
How about we just fix the schools so that they're equal?
But we haven't been able to fix them for 30 years.
Putting in someone who doesn't know anything about what parents actually go through doesn't help. And also, someone whose agenda is to create schools that have a religious bent. Not all, you know, America is filled with religions from all over the map. And so to talk about, you know, making America better with Christian schools doesn't make sense to me when there are so many different religions. If we make schools better, if we train teachers better, if we pay them, if we paid them a living wage, you know, and fix the schools that are falling apart, because we seem to be able to do everything else. I don't know why the kids with nothing always get pooped on.
But we haven't been able, I mean, we haven't been able to fix them for so long. I don't understand why there's so much opposition to giving parents, especially low-income parents, more power and more choice.
You can have a charter part. You can have as a teacher, I know this because my husband worked in the Bronx, and he had a class that was a little slower, and other people had classes that the kids were a little bit faster. Some kids could read better, etc. Within the school, you could have charter schools. You don't have to have a whole other building that costs a lot more money. You can do it in the school. What's wrong with that?
You know, I think that is a possibility. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I mean, I think we need to try to fix our public schools, of course.
Just all the schools and make them equal.
And make them equal, of course. But why not give these parents the option? I mean, when you speak to communities of color, they want their kids to have options. They want their kids in the charter school.
No, they want their kids to have the same opportunities kids in schools that are not falling apart have.
Right, but they're not
because when teachers come in, well, part of it is when people make assumptions about what goes on in neighborhoods, when people make assumptions about who's in those neighborhoods, it's what Van was talking about.
Yeah.
When people just assume, when you see a really smart kid, we say it's a smart kid going up to the thing, you don't believe this kid is as smart. That's part of the problem.
But it's also another issue. I want to just respond about Betsy DeVos for a second, because she is not... People who have been supportive of charter schools, and I'm one of them, I'm a supporter of charter schools and vouchers, have been opposing her in her home state. The reason her charter schools don't work is because she imposes government regulation. She was a Common Core backer before she opposed Common Core. This stuff you're hearing her say now about how I oppose Common Core and I oppose government standards, that's not true. The vouchers she wants to distribute have government oversight. She is a big government girl in disguise. One of the issues with why I'm a former educator, a former teacher, I respect teachers. It's one of the toughest jobs in this country. They deserve more respect than anyone. But when you saw in New York City, you saw Bill de Blasio going against a charter school success academy, and you saw minority communities, low-income communities rallying together and saying, this school represents opportunity for our kids. And who was battling against them were the teachers' unions, who often don't stick up for the teachers and don't stick up for the students, but stick up for themselves. And what people are saying, I'm 100% with you.
The people who are in the union are themselves.
No, but you see teachers in schools saying this union is preventing our schools from getting better. You see a lot of teachers saying they are not helping the system, they are fighting the system. And you're right, though. These parents have a right to say, look, if I'm poor and I have a child in a poor district and the best school that I can send my child to is not in my district, I should have the right to say, I want my child to go there.
But I'm telling you, you have a choice within the school.
Hold on.
Within the school. Why don't you listen to that?
Within the school, though?
Yes, within the same building.
In theory, what Sonny and Jed are saying sounds great. It has not been successful, and this is why. You're going to give a family a $5,000, let's say, voucher.
Right.
The private school is going to be $10,000. So the people that are going to ultimately win out in this become, again, the affluent, the ones that have a lot of money, access, and resources. So once again, the kids with no money don't get a better option all the time.
But if
they end up back in the public education that was neglected once again because now we're putting money towards
But the stats don't show that. If you look at EdChoice in its own review, it was released in May 2016. The empirical evidence shows that choice, which is what I'm supportive of, improves academic outcomes for participants and public schools. It saves taxpayer money, and it moves students into more integrated classroom, and
it's failed in Michigan.
I'm going to say this again.
It failed in Michigan because of over big government, not because of choice.
Adults don't get it, you know? Kids want the teachers that they work well with.
Yeah.
Teachers, you know, all of this, you know, let's do these tests to make sure everybody's the same. It's not that way. If we could just shut up and look and see what's best for the kids, forget everybody else. If you have a teacher that needs something, why aren't their needs met? If there are buildings that are falling down, why aren't they repaired?
I had to buy my
That's
own
the
books.
issue.
One of the struggles is you can't, if you have an amazing teacher, Whoopi, in a school, and that teacher's doing a great job, that teacher deserves a raise. But what happens is the government enforces a system where everybody gets the same raise. You're a good teacher, you're a bad teacher.
Stop with the government.
No, but that's the problem, the government.
No, it's not the problem.
It is.
No, it's not. The government is not the issue here. The issue is, I get that, and let me tell you why
Tell
I
me why.
disagree.
Tell me
I'm
why.
trying. I'm trying. The government is not the problem here because the government, you know, gives all the school districts the money they need. The school districts need to take a look and see how to measure a teacher, what a teacher does. To make it one blanket thing. A teacher in this classroom does not teach this class the same way this teacher does. That's why I say
I agree
that.
with
That's
you,
why I
but that-
disagree.
I agree
but it's
with
not,
you.
But it's not a government thing.
No.
This is not. This is local.
I agree with
This
you.
is local.
I agree with you, but to me, that means taking some of that power away from the federal government and giving that power to the
But it's
local
not
communities and the
but it's
state
not
government.
Listen,
It's a
local communities
issue.
are falling apart because all of these wonderful programs that used to be there when I was a baby 1,000 years ago, you know, people have said, oh no, that's affirmative action. You shouldn't
They
get
don't have
that.
the money.
You shouldn't have that. You shouldn't have that. And you know what? The only people that suffer here are the kids.
Always.
They're the only people who suffer.